Draft your LCS team and earn money. Alpha Draft.
Amazing J once again did his job as we jump into Champion Select on that Sion, but if you don't have any damage to back up that super tank, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, and sort of Amazing J found himself a lot of those times just wandering around looking for someone to hit with his fairly dulled axe, you have to admit. Not too much damage coming out of him, but Champion Select is underway, and we do have Lysandra, Gnar, and Rek'Sai being taken off the board first up, and you have to say, pretty standard bans.
Yeah, and King looking once again to hit maybe some junglers after that, going for the Lee Sin.
Yep.
I guess we'll take away the Jarvan. They didn't really see anything they had to ban last game, so why change it up?
Yeah, not too worried about getting rid of anything. Of course, they are changing sides, so last pick potential going to be in the hands of King, but that all-important first pick going to be going to Energy Pacemaker, and we'll see whether they can put it to good use as they take a little while to think of their last ban, which is going to be Kassadin here on the side of Energy Pacemaker. Not wanting to see that out of Assassin or Sky here. A bit of a flex pick in that one.
Yeah, Assassin does definitely play that more in the mid lane. But once again, LeBlanc, Fizz, Zed, all these other Assassins still left up. It's weird that they would target Kassadin as the highest priority out of them. I think that we've seen that he can play other champions, and I would not be surprised if this was a J4 ban that just came through.
Yeah, you could imagine taking away those top 3 junglers. I mean, forcing that. Ooh, actually LeBlanc being taken away from Raphael.
So that does leave Amazing J's Jarvan up, and I would expect them to take it because the Sion hasn't done much, and he needs a damage threat. He needs to get around the map with that teleport and really catapult the early game if Energy Pacemaker are going to split this one 1-1. So would not be surprised if they do look for that Jarvan. Sky will just probably go back to an Aurelia or maybe even a Maokai again. We'll be fine in lane, but I think it's more what they do early game. And wow, the Azir being prioritized as the first pick.
Yeah, so Azir going to be taken off the board. Picked up here by Energy Pacemaker. We'll see whether they can make a team around the Birdman, of course. Has a lot more damage potential here in the mid lane as far as, you know, comparing it to the last comp is concerned. And
yeah, and continues to scale, which I think is the important part, because there was a point in that game where Energy Pacemaker peaked and then fell off with their composition.
We didn't really witness much of that peak, let's be honest.
I didn't say it was a great peak, but it certainly existed.
Yeah.
And it looks like King going to also take away the Janna, who didn't really have much of an impact. You would say that wasn't able to disengage the Fizz, who's very annoying. And if you play an Azir composition, generally you don't want that much hard engage.
Yeah.
You go for more of a control composition.
Yep, so Janna and Jarvan 4 going to be locked away here from King, so pretty high priority picks, you have to admit, and we'll see what Energy Pacemaker decide to go with. Are they going to pick away that Sivir again? See whether they can use that on the hunt to get them into this one. Shu now going to be taking away that Thresh in response to Liam's Janna. We'll see what Raphael decides to put in here, and there are a few options available, but we're not entirely sure what they're going to go with because they need to mix it up. They need to change what they're doing, and Raphael going to lock in the Graves, so very different choice.
Yeah, and a lot of burst damage so far coming out. You have to say, with the Azir that can get that Soldier auto attack, Q auto attack that just does so much damage, as well as the Graves coming through, going to be putting out a fair bit more mid-game damage, which we didn't really see last time around. Looks like Wushin may swap it over to the Sivir, so King going for a little bit more of an Energy Pacemaker comp first game.
Yeah, definitely in the bottom lane. Assassin is going to be hovering over this Rengar as well for potentially MLXG, but it'll be an interesting pickup because that's going to mean a top or mid lane Jarvan, and we've seen both. Not entirely sure where it's going to go, but Sky can put that to work, but it does take away a lot of the jungle pool.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Another priority jungler taken off the board. Where do they go from here? That's Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, Jarvan, and Rengar being picked away, and they didn't go for a jungle yet. Sky will take the J4 into the top lane. It'll be completely fine, especially if it's up against a Maokai. There's not really much pressure for Jarvan in that lane. And MLXG's Rengar looked good last game.
It really did. Managed to start the fights that he needed it to, and you have to say, got his carries into the places that they wanted to be.
Oh, so it will potentially be the Kha'Zix pickup as the jungle that
Alien
Drizzle will go
Predator
for.
in the jungle, potentially.
Yeah, didn't go for the Pantheon like he did last game. No CC coming out of the jungle this time around, but a much bigger damage threat. So Energy Pacemaker has 3 damage threats going into this game with the solo tank in the Maokai.
Yeah, and Assassin looking at another option here to last pick his mid lane, has seen the entire team comp with Energy Pacemaker, knows he actually can pick up that Fizz yet again and take that into the mid against Azir.
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't be a bad pickup.
That'd be cool. Not entirely sure whether that's going to come through. We'll see what he does decide to do. Of course, Liam going to be cycling over a lot of champions. Has spent a lot more time on this Xerath. But we'll see what decides to be locked in.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Xerath pickup, just because he can poke Azir all day.
Yep.
Doesn't even have to worry about the Emperor's Divide coming through. We'll be able to just lob out the long-range spells. And now, really, it's on Sky to get someone in a Cataclysm and get them low enough for Assassin to just take them off the map.
Not to mention the Bola Strike, even if it's not empowered, setting up for that Rite of the Arcane, so you can just, as you said, lob those Arcane Orbs right on top of whoever gets slowed down and have that one easy. It's sort of a little bit like that old strategy used between Ryze and Xerath, where one rune prisons and then you just lob orbs any point on the map.
Yeah, I like the J4 Cataclysm a little bit more because it kind of sets up a ring and then he just kind of just lobs them in.
A little bit easier to sort of plan your attacks with that one.
Also just looks better. Aesthetically pleasing is a big part of the game.
It's like a huge game of basketball to come through. Can you get them in the ring? I think you possibly can. It just involves clicking on it.
Yeah, so good synergy coming out. Once again, some hard engage, a lot of poke coming out. Fantastic wave clear with a Sivir and a Xerath coming through. So King have picked up a, once again, teamfight heavy comp with a bit more poke, but Energy Pacemaker, you feel, have done better this time around. They can match it. They've got a lot of upfront bursts with that Xerath and Graves, so they'll be looking to, I guess, take it early to King this time around.
And the thing that's a little bit worrying to me is seeing this Kha'Zix being picked up here in the jungle. Sort of a bottom tier pick. Hasn't really been seeing as much play as he did when he was in that sort of top tier of junglers, sort of way back when. Has copped a few nerfs and just hasn't really seen the impact that you really want out of these assassin junglers.
Yeah, and I think the game plan behind that is send them Maokai and absorb a lot of damage and then wait for Kha'Zix to clean the fight up afterwards.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can do that as we get into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, with Energy Pacemaker taking on King. Of course, our blue side going to be EP and King picking up our red as both teams fanning out. No sort of invade play is going to be coming through.
Yeah, no Sion on the map this time around, so not looking for any, I guess, unique level 1 strategies coming out of Energy Pacemaker. Just happy to scout up the whole river.
As Assassin having a bit of a dance-off here in the mid lane. Raphael deciding,
not impressed.
Yeah, he's not impressed at all. Not even going to turn into a pigeon for him. There's some auto attacks being traded here. Same amount. Oh, there's a nice auto attack cancel here as the flayback onto Liam as well. The damage coming through from these bottom laners, just showing that they want to be fighting as soon as they can.
Yeah, good work from Kaneshu there, just getting rid of some of the frustration from last game.
Assassin spinning around, shooting off abilities in every which way. Not too worried. He just wants to have a bit of a dance. Everyone having fun there in the mid lane.
So bottom lanes have recalled. On the side of Energy Pacemaker, not really given... No, now they have. They're going back to the bottom lane. So we'll see standard lanes this time around, as we saw last game, actually.
Not as much scouting going on to make sure that they're going to get these. Of course, King and Energy Pacemaker happy to go into that 2v2. Of course, Graves and Sivir relatively similar as far as that early game pressure, would you say?
Yeah, and won't be giving up any camps either. So both... everyone will just be walking into their matchups. Level 1 respectively. And really just a very standard early game.
Yeah, Amazing J actually going to help out with that Gromp as well. Make sure Drizzle stays as healthy as he can in that jungle. I'm going to go straight over. Actually, yeah, to the blue camp. Start off that one. No, he's not. He's heading somewhere. Drizzle with an exciting start. As Energy Pacemaker getting taken down quite low here by the... Ooh, the flay actually going to come
waited
through.
For that ward to expire. That's good knowledge there from Drizzle, but sees MLXG actually has his red buff, so he's not going to be able to get much work done here.
Yeah, that's an isolated Rengar, though, so you have to think that Drizzle has a little bit of an innate advantage onto that one, as Raphael going to throw out his Sand Soldiers.
So Drizzle wastes a lot of that red buff on Rengar. Rengar now going top, looking for a level 2 gank potentially on Amazing J.
Ooh, level 2's actually been hit by the bottom lane of King here first up. And they're going to assert their pressure as MLXG.
Amazing J's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, he is being caught in a very awkward position. It was a nice flag and drag there as well. Ooh, the Dragon Strike. Is it going to be up in time? He can flash and use that ability. See whether it is going to be enough, but Drizzle's here as well. There's the flash. Oh, actually, the flag's not going to land there as well. A little bit of a wrong decision.
Oh, Drizzle's in trouble now as well.
Yeah, he's being caught out. Going to leap over the wall here. I'm going to get his blue buff finished off here as well. So Amazing J falling for first blood and Drizzle having to be very defensive. King already with a fantastic start.
Yeah, and we see more action in the bottom lane.
Yeah, the auto attacks coming through onto Kane. He's getting taken down so low. It's a nice play, and the turret actually going to land here, but Wushin going to take a lot of damage as well as the heal has to be popped by
Kane
this
still
Sivir.
has his available here.
Yeah, but we'll see. This pressure does not seem to be abating here in the bottom lane as, Arcano Pulse not going to land onto Raphael, who's now completely out of mana.
Yeah, so Wushin able to get the push through, will go back and be able to get back in lane without losing much CS, although he has actually stopped the recall, so maybe looking to bait Kane into a little bit of overextension here.
Yep, he's not going to fall for it though, going to head back to base. As we actually have
some
MLXG,
counter jungling coming out of MLXG, maybe?
Maybe. Has spotted the fact that Drizzle is there in the mid lane though, and he's going to leash out this red buff so that no one's going to be able to see him doing it. No vision available. He's going to go down relatively low, but those double Qs doing a lot of work here. Does have that smite, so going to get a bunch of health back as well when he smites down that camp. An easy red steal and could transition maybe into something in the bottom lane, but there's no members there.
Yeah, and just a good piece of counter jungling coming out of MLXG. Kha'Zix's not going to have that red buff, and being CC less, apart from that slow that comes out of the W and the passive, will really hurt him in the early game. So great movements coming out from MLXG in the early game.
Yeah, Energy Pacemaker may be onto the fact that this blue buff has not been cleared though, so heading into the jungle themselves, actually not going to get spotted out by Lamb, who sort of does a little bit of a drive-by through a different path, and they're going to start this one off as well. Shu is here, so it's a little bit safer.
So good response coming out of Energy Pacemaker. They will be able to pick this one up if they get it down. Yep, there it is. And that's good for Kha'Zix because he does go through a lot of mana, spamming out that W, trying to keep himself reasonably healthy. Maybe even have a little bit of a flank on here.
Ooh, actually, yeah, Lamb caught in a very interesting position. Going to dodge out of the way of that death sentence, but
able to get a pink ward as well. That was only there for a couple of seconds. So
Flash
again,
and pink ward, very good.
Yeah, once again, Energy Pacemaker looking much better in this early game.
Yeah, looking fantastic. We'll see whether they can transition into any sort of concerted efforts here against King, who, of course, managed to pick up that first blood into Amazing J. And you have to say that's the person that you really want to be targeting here because Amazing J has been sort of the rock for Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, and you saw even last game, they went down in pretty spectacular fashion, but the only person you would say that was putting up any resistance at all, be it quite futile, was their top laner. So a good focal point for King to try and take advantage of. Sky's played that matchup pretty well so far. Did not get the first blood, so that lane matchup still reasonably open. You would think the Maokai is not going to be forced back too much, but yeah, I really like the pressure they are putting onto Amazing J.
Yeah, so as long as Amazing J, though, as long as he gets some farm under his belt, gets some money, gets that sort of Rod of Ages stacking, he's still going to be Maokai in the late game if they manage to get there.
Yeah, but more to the point, he wants to keep Sky down because the more damage this Jarvan can do and the more a level advantage he can build, the easier it's going to be for the Xerath to be able to clean up the team fights. Nothing worse than being set up and engaged upon from like 2 screens away from a Jarvan, but then him able to do half your health with an ultimate. So we'll look for him.
Actually, Descent's landing on a Lamb down here as well. The Ignite already popping. Kane taking so much damage from Wushin. He is just asserting his dominance. Even takes a turret shot just for funsies. There's a nice double play to come through here as well. Kane's actually stopped his focus. Oh my gosh, that spell shield was godlike, as Wushin manages to stave off that death sentence, which may have actually lived up to its name.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of going for the AD at the start of the fight as opposed to the support. Even though they took Lamb reasonably low, we're able to just turn around and, I guess, bully Kane a little bit. Sivir does have a CS advantage in this lane, and wow, MLXG on the second round of buffs is only level 3.
Yeah, which is interesting because he managed to actually get the buff steal here against Drizzle, who has almost got double the farm of this Rengar.
Yeah, and I think it's the jungle item difference coming through. Rengar does have a little bit of trouble clearing early game. As we see Drizzle sneaking into the top lane, maybe looking to repay the favor onto Sky.
Yeah, and that Trailblazer came through very quickly as well from Drizzle, so did manage. Oh, actually, Sky may get caught. Does get slowed down by that sapling. I wonder whether he saw Drizzle enter that brush. I don't think he did by how far he's playing up, and the Dragon Strike going to be used there, so no flag and drags for another couple of seconds. And we'll see when the trigger decides to be pulled here from Drizzle.
I think they're waiting for either the E or the Q to come out. The Q does come out. If there's a time to go, it would be now.
Oh, he's walking up to him. There's a twisted advance bounce from Maelstrom as well. The flash immediately pop. Flag and drag to safety, but they'll take that Summoner spell any day.
Yeah, they certainly will, and that's a very patient game coming out of Drizzle. 20 CS the advantage for Sky in this top lane, so it's not going well by any stretch of the imagination, but hopefully that Summoner spell will mean that they can revisit and maybe even out the top lane a little bit further.
Yeah, and I think getting Amazing J going, as we mentioned, as Rite of the Arcane does come through, Raphael takes a lot of damage there as well, and that E not going to save him from that one, but Assassin very low on mana, and both of these mid lane champions probably wanted to go back as they're both very even.
Yeah, Drizzle will give over the blue buff beforehand to Raphael. Of course, CDR so important for Azir in this lane. He was forced into a double Duran's pickup, which is just not what you want to do as an Azir. You, of course, want to get into that maybe Morellonomicon or the Athene's Unholy Grail as fast as possible. And once again, MLXG, he's actually gone for the Moby boots straight up. He wants to get around this map and affect it as much as possible, even though he's fallen a little bit behind on the CS.
Yeah, well, he really does want to be sort of leveling up to that level 6, but now that he's got that Moby Boots pickup, he's almost forced into ganking effectively if he wants to make that purchase worthwhile. I mean, we hear this spoken about a lot by analysts around the world, is that that item is only worth the money if you can affect the map with it.
Yeah, and I expect that we will see the Sightstone come out again, just because that's the way that he has been playing this Rengar, more as the vision, get around the map, really try and help Liam out in that regard, and then just use his ultimate and his natural tankiness to be able to survive in these team fights. Not really going for the Assassin Rengar, as he has burnt the ultimate, will be going for mid lane. Yeah,
so really wants to start off his assault here, and Raphael's going to be privy to it. He's going to see what's going on. There's the Emperor's Divide, and a lot of damage onto MLXG. That's 2 Sand Soldiers there, just ripping him apart. And who was ganking who in that situation? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, but does get the ultimate out of the Azir there. So the next time, maybe even Sky can visit for a little bit of a gank. It means that in the mid lane, just cannot push out at all, can Raphael. So worthwhile in the end, but did look kind of scary for a moment there. Kind of scary. Looked terrifying. As Assassin going to pick up his blue buff here. MLXG going to head back to base and maybe complete that Brutalizer, or maybe even his first jungle item, as that has been finished on the side of Drizzle. And this guy has been farming up a storm on this Kha'Zix, and I really like it, because if you're going to do anything, you need to have the items to do damage. Yeah, and has evolved the Q, so in isolated scenarios is just going to do so much work at this point in the game. 13 CS ahead, and has just gone for a pure farming build. Hasn't put anything into boots or anything. He just wants to get around and clear the camps as fast as possible. Yeah, even has a mana potion here as well, so he wants to make sure that he can be using those abilities on those camps. As Shu just going to throw in a death sentence, start off that dragon, get that warded up, and get a bit of damage onto Liam as well. May as well. As we see Amazing J looking to set up another tank, although Drizzle has now been pinged out in the top lane. They know he's there because of how far back that last creep walked. So Sky completely aware of what's going on. The wave is pushing in his favor. Not much is going to happen in this top lane. Yeah, Sky's flash sort of about 2/3 of the way through, so not going to have that if anything does happen. But with that forward information, I mean, he's not going to be going too far forward at all. Does have that Tiamat completed, almost going towards that Hydra by the looks of things. Has an extra longsword as well, and we saw when Amazing J picked up this top lane, Jarvan left it at that Tiamat, and this time it seems like Sky wanted to go a little bit more aggressive, which is sort of his shtick. Yeah, I would expect the Hydra is extremely aggressive. Maybe something like a Hex Drinker would be more apt against a team with a double AP composition if you look at Maokai as that second AP threat, at least in the laning phase. So that might be a little bit more defensive and suit the build. However, if it's Sky and he builds a Hydra, I would not be surprised whatsoever. I just want it to happen. I love that item. Walk's just going to, or Wushin, going to continue to farm out these creeps. Has that BF sword, but as does Kane. Both of these bottom laners with exactly the same build, but of course Wushin again with a nice CS advantage. And Drizzle back in this top lane, looking to get Sky a little bit uncomfortable. He's nearly 30 CS up at this point. And Amazing J's pushed in the lane. Drizzle's backed off one more time. Ooh, red buff's available though. Kane takes a nice single shot from that Boomerang Blade. But Death Sentence not going to land on a Liam as well. And they've had a lot of focus on this Janna here in the bottom lane.
Okay, so as soon as they go across to pick up the red buff, MLXG makes a beeline for the Dragon. This will be the first one of the game. And with 2 members on the top side of the map, will be for free unless Energy Pacemaker can do something special. Teleport coming in.
Yeah, there's a teleport. Amazing J coming straight into this one. King backing away immediately. Thrill of the Hunt's available. They can get back into this one. As Energy Pacemaker now all here to position around, and you have to admit, with that Emperor's Divide now available again, they're going to need to get a lot of poke off.
Oh, they're collapsing onto Sky here.
Yeah, there's the box through as well. Thrill of the Hunt has been popped. Sky's been caught up as well. That is the ultimate going a little bit wide there from Kane, but they've started off this killing spree with Sky going down first. Oh, Assassin going to take down Drizzle. That's the smite gone here. As there's the Rite of the Arcane coming down as well. King are not done yet. It's a decent Monsoon, but look at that twisted advance onto Liam. The Sapling Toss can almost finish him off. A nice Arcane Smash. Going to complete that kill as Amazing J picks up his second of the fight. Dragon has reset. Energy Pacemaker wants to back off because they don't have their smite.
Yeah, all in all, 2 for 1 in a 1-team fight for Energy Pacemaker. You saw the upfront burst that came out of the Kazakhstan Grave, able to get Sky off the map, and he has elected to go for that Hex Drinker. Maybe could have used some HP in that fight, as we do see the replay. The teleport was just so dangerous. That's Amazing J's teleport, but the next teleport that comes through from Sky is on the exact same position, and they're just able to collapse much too effectively. We'll see it coming through right now, and they're just able to get through collapse. The box goes down on the edge, and Sky is just sitting there, not able to do anything, and just gets blown up. From there, it's just the fact that Drizzle, whilst going extremely low, it does die. Amazing J's just too tanky, able to bully out Wushin and Liam by himself, and just, I guess, from there, they just couldn't turn around and fight.
And a little bit unfortunate from Assassin as well, not hitting a lot of his Rite of the Arcane shots. And Kane could have potentially fallen down there as well. But Energy Pacemaker have made their way back to this Dragon straight up, 2 men strong as the Howling Gale does come through. They knew it was happening, but Energy Pacemaker again managing to pick up that first Dragon.
Yeah, they sent Amazing J down there without his teleport. He just walked through. They do give up the maybe top lane turret and their blue buff, but overall a very good move from Energy Pacemaker to persevere with that one. And 2-1-0 now with that Righteous Glory on Maokai, starting to get going in this game.
Yeah, so going to have a lot of engage potential. Of course, almost like sort of a talisman of Randuin's.
Of course, with that speed up and the slow that comes through, as Raphael getting aggressive on Assassin, who's 1-0-0, looking good for his team. Jungle is meat as well. Sky also in this lane. Ooh, nice stun.
Yeah, nice stun going to land. There's the Arcano Pulse as well. Ooh, Rite of the Arcane's going to be popped. The E going to be used, and that's going to save him from all of them. Raphael definitely having his dancing shoes on. Has the right name for it as well. Sounds like he'd be out of tango.
Ooh.
There's a Flag and Drag to come through. Emperor's Divide going to get Sky out of it, but he says, I don't care. I'm going to Cataclysm right under your face. The box is here as well, right under the tower. The stun going to go wide. Shu, though, going to get flashed on by Wushin.
Sky's still alive.
Look at King. They are just smashing through this fight. Amazing J now finds his way in, but there are 3 members dead on the side of Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, and disengaging before Kane able to get into that fight with the Grave. So all in all, a really well-timed collapse coming through from King. May lose out on this middle turret for it, but no, sending Xerath as well as Sky back there. Xerath as well as Wushin. So they're going to be able to defend this one, and 3-0 with a great turnaround, purely off the back of a very good stun coming through from Assassin.
Yeah, that was fantastic, and it looked sort of a little bit incidental, but Assassin just managing to combo that one through, as we do see it again.
Yeah, so this is just Sky going very, very hard. Able to get in there. He's dodging a lot of the turret shots that come through because he's just in between the gap, and Wushin is such an aggressive AD carry, flashing forward to that kill and just cleaning up the fight. And you can see all the health bars reasonably low, but a clean disengage.
Yeah, and knowing exactly when to as well, as we jump straight back into the action here. Energy Pacemaker trying to defend this middle lane out of turret. But King just going to back away, decide that they don't want to go against these Azir Sand Soldiers.
Yeah, and Kane has been spending a little bit more time in the solo lanes than Wushin. Has evened out the CS, but Wushin just 2-0-1, being much more effective in these team fights. So he's really the man to watch in the next fight. Starting to get extremely, I guess, buff at this point in the game and looking to carry for his team.
And Sky now just demonstrating that he has so much damage. It's such a different affair having a look at a top lane Jarvan in comparison to that jungle Jarvan, just because you have so much more resources. And often you're just used to Jarvans not doing a whole lot of damage, and you don't really understand that that Cataclysm has a decent AD ratio.
Yeah, it definitely does. And the Cataclysm auto attack into the Tiamat proc just does ridiculous amounts of damage early in the game. If that Dragon Strike hits for the armor penetration as well, just can spell a lot of damage, and followed up by a Sivir and a Xerath.
Yep.
That's just ridiculous amounts of burst.
Yep, silly burst damage coming through as Stalker's Blade has been completed with that enchantment of the Warrior here for MLXG, who's still going low in his jungle, trying to battle them Krugs. Kane also going to try a similar thing here in the bottom side of the map.
Hasn't died yet, though, to the jungle camps this time around, so
definitely
got to
doing
count
better.
that a win.
Yeah, you know, that was his first one of the day. I mean, probably just doesn't quite know what's going on. But Sky just going to continue clearing this one out. Amazing J happy to play fairly far up now that he has a fair few defensive items coming through. And Raphael still being pressured out from Assassin here. And Assassin looking very comfortable on this Xerath.
Yeah, so proving that he has another champion under his belt, I guess, and repetitively pushing this lane in as Sky once again roaming down. As soon as he took that turret, he wanted to be involved in the...
Righteous Glory has been popped. Sky actually immediately flashing out of the way of that one as the Arcano Pulse not going to quite get built up far enough from Assassin, and they'll take that Summoner Spell.
Yeah, Summoner Spell for the activatable item coming through, going to be able to clean out another ward.
Ooh, Arcano Pulse onto Kane there. Sniper vision from Assassin.
Wushin in the meanwhile in the bottom lane. Once again, 20 CS up, takes the turret, and this Sivir just pushes relentlessly. Picked up the Infinity Edge as well as the Berserker Greaves.
Yeah, never leave Sivir in the corner. She gets upset and kills all of your structures.
Yeah, and still going in this bottom lane. She's also got MLXG as well as Lamb for backup, so even if they engage here, they need to be careful.
Yeah, Drizzle and Kane may think that they can do something here, but things looking very bad. Thriller Hunt does get popped. Shu just going to die straight away. And MLXG looking for the leap, does manage to find it, but Drizzle going to leap out of the way as well.
Yeah, just missing that bowler strike that would have maybe even spelled his demise, and they continue to push through here. Azir is flanking as well as Amazing J, and they don't have Xerath.
There's the flash into the Twisted Advance. Amazing J right in on this one. A lot of damage going down. Lamb with a nice disengaged Monsoon to come through, but there's the Righteous Glory coming in. The slow as well coming down from Lamb was fantastically placed, and even with the heal and that Righteous Glory again, they couldn't close the distance.
And once again, Sky making sure they can't use their backs, pressuring them in the bottom lane. Assassin picks up a turret, so all in all, 2 turrets and a kill on the side of King, playing an uneven team fight fantastically.
Yeah, and just dancing Energy Pacemaker around this map as well, just causing them to come to them and then disengaging so beautifully. Wushin actually going to turn it around on Kane, just saying, nah, buddy, I want it back, and that's not your decision to make.
Yeah, and 3-0 on 1. We'll go back and probably look for that static shiv to come through, as we see Amazing J tried to get the flank there.
Yeah, Amazing J still trying to do so much work around this map. I mean, we credited him for being able to move around and get things going, but hasn't found his way in as effectively as he would have otherwise liked. But I like what he's doing because he has that Righteous Glory. He can make things happen. He's just got to keep trying.
Yeah, and you feel that even with the 2 subs, there's still a similar game plan coming through for Energy Pacemaker, and it does hinge a lot on their top laner being able to affect the map early. And as soon as that falls down, they don't really have another calling card to go to, and they are starting to flounder as the Dragon's been started up one more time.
This is actually going to be the first Dragon to come through here from King. Energy Pacemaker would probably want to deny this one if they can. They're just going to clear out all of the vision. They still respect the engage potential coming in here from Energy Pacemaker. They know that Assassin needs to get some poke down before they get anything going.
Yeah, and I think all they're trying to do, as a teleport is actually coming in from the top side.
Yeah, Amazing J going to come through, but he gets collapsed on immediately and just removed. He can't verse 5 people. Oh, actually, oh my gosh, that was the longest range auto attack I've seen in my entire life. Is Amazing J gets the
got the flank now as well.
Yeah, on the hunt and through all the hunt, both being popped. It's a nice Empress Divide to funnel them through this gap. Sky taking a lot of damage. Collateral damage not quite enough as Drizzle jumps in. Is he going to have the reset? No, he's only level 10. Just wanted one more level. Tries to get onto Wushin, but it's a bit of a desperate play as Raphael's starting to get some damage here in the backline. The flash to come through from Kane, but MLXG is right on top of him as those Sand Soldiers doing the work. Doesn't quite get there as 3 members are dead on the side of Energy Pacemaker for the 1 of King.
Yeah, and once again, a fantastic collapse at the start of that team fight from a misplaced teleport.
Yeah.
Didn't have the vision to back it up and was able to, I guess, just get exploded at the start of the fight. But this is the power of Xerath. From a deficit of 7,000 gold, was able to still get out so much damage at that point in the game.
Oh, I think you mean Azir. Yeah,
Azir.
He was doing a lot of work.
Yeah, Azir. So Energy Pacemaker behind Raphael still have a chance in these mid-game little skirmishes just because of how much work Azir can do at this point in the game.
Yeah, and it looks like MLXG looking to pick up his own Righteous Glory here.
Maybe a Warmog's armor?
Potentially a Warmog's. I'd like another Righteous Glory because that item's fun to see.
I think Warmog's is extremely important in the lineup just because of how much mixed damage comes out of Graves as well as Azir. So that's a very heavy AP threat and a heavy AD threat.
Yep.
That both have very good burst damage. So they start off. Azir has better persistent damage, but Graves really is relying on that upfront burst at the start. As we see the Giant's Belt being picked up, and Assassin firing off that ult.
Interesting, just right at the arcane being thrown down just to get some poke off. Of course, not having the hugest of cooldowns with that blue buff especially, so...
Yeah, and out of nowhere, he's built himself a 50 CS lead and is 2-0-5 with that Death Cap and Morellonomicon. So looking extremely good once again. Had a great game on Fizz, picking up a pentakill, and now following suit as the ultimate comes through.
Yeah, Drizzle actually going to get caught out here. He's the squishy Kha'Zix, and he's going to fall down almost straight away. Both of those hunt abilities being used to great effect as King now putting pressure on this inner turret in the mid lane, and Energy Pacemaker, they just don't want to be here. Assassin is on his way, by the way, to an immortal series.
Yeah, and 310 now that kills 10,000 gold advantage nearly in the favor of King. This game at 24 minutes has been completely shaken up, and King once again just looking the stronger team.
Yeah, and it seems like this mid to late game is just where King thrive, especially here against Energy Pacemaker, which is arguably where their weakness lies almost the greatest. Yeah,
so Energy Pacemaker, after they lose that very early game, just don't look like they have any response for the map apart from Amazing Jay trying to start these fights up. Really want to see them try and shake something up in one of these series. Pick extremely early game. Although, how much earlier game can you get? You've got a Kha'Zix and a Graves.
Yeah, I think it's like you can't pick a Maokai in the top lane. Maybe pick a Darius. Maybe that's the option. Maybe you have to go super hard into that early game, but I don't quite know what else they can do because Kane's struggling in this bottom side. Hasn't died, and of course, picked himself up a few assists here on this Graves, so he's not a problem factor, but...
Just hasn't been as impactful as Wuxin has been this whole series long.
Wuxin is on form today as well, you have to say.
Yeah, and supported nicely by Lam, who's got those captain enchants on his boots now.
Captain Jammer. Definitely doing some work. Static Shiv going to clear out all of these minions as Lam just waiting for a potential engage to come in. And Energy Pacemaker again being strangled out of their own jungle. This is not where they belong. They belong in the
Void
fountain.
Staff now has been picked up by Assassin. So his combo as the heavy engage comes out.
Yeah, Raphael down so low, but Assassin almost dead as well as Sky going to get immediately Emperor's divided out of that fight. The Sun Turret's available there as well as Amazing J trying to get something started. There's a Death Sentence coming through as Shu manages to land that one. The Ignite's on Sky as well. Kane's come in, but it's a really nice Monsoon to save his team.
Yeah, Wuxin not done, looking to turn it around. 1-0, so shutting down that Xerath, who was 3-1-5, removing him from the map, which is a lot of the poke damage. Let's see if they can transition into a mid-turret.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can do it, of course. Actually ending Assassin's immortal lifetime in this series as well, so he is one for however many other kills he manages to pick up. Of course, I think it's about 15 or so currently, so having a fantastic day nonetheless. But this outer turret's going to fall down. Energy Pacemaker looking to try and get themselves back into it. Oh, MLXG not going to land the ball strike. Raphael still incredibly low. Very scary times as Sky makes his way back into this one as well. There's the On the Hunt being popped up. Flag and drag, shoot! You are definitely dead as Drizzle going to be forced to extended leap his way out of that one. Kane actually going to just hop, skip, and a jump out of the Cataclysm.
But they turned it around, the 4v5, just because of how low Raphael was on Azir. Not able to respond in any kind. They're transferring this into a bottom lane push at the moment. We'll be able to pick up that turret as well. So nice response coming out of King after the commitment to the middle turret. They just needed to get out of there a little bit faster, maybe even run up to disengage that fight. In the end, will cost them maybe this bottom tier 2.
Yeah, but Raphael did manage to pick up a needlessly large rod after that as well, so big burst in AP here, as you can see. A fair bit of damage going down onto Wuxin with those Sand Soldiers.
able to successfully defend the turret. This might actually be against them in favor, though, although they do have the teleport advantage. That is so important for Amazing J. There's not very many wards that he can actually come to affect a team fight in the bottom lane. As Assassin back to the middle lane, relentlessly split pushing, has been pinged to maybe be engaged upon.
Yeah, they're collapsing from all sides here. It's actually the Twisted Advance to come through. Arcane Smash as well. Assassin, you are definitely dead. Raphael picks up his first kill of this game, really wanting to get this Azir going.
And they need to be so careful against this Energy Pacemaker lineup because of how much damage Kha'Zix and Azir do to neutral monsters. If they keep giving up basic kills like that, that's a 30-second death timer.
Yeah.
If that happens again, that might even mean a Baron on the side of Energy Pacemaker.
And it seems when it rains, it pours as far as deaths for Assassin. That's 2 in a very short space of time. Going to also lose his blue buff for that one, but you can see King, they're trying to make moves. They want to come through and push both this top side and middle lane. Both teams getting their blue buff stolen away. Wushin going to pick up that one. And their efforts then transitioned here. Of course, Sivir just so good at pushing down these turrets.
Yeah, leaving 2 members here for the Dragon, maybe even a third, but this might be an inhibitor. They need to get back as fast as possible. They stopped 2 recalls there.
They could even look for a Baron here if they know that this Dragon's going on.
Well, they must have a general idea. No, they don't have any wards down. They do ping out Baron now, so looking to get someone up in that area. They do take out the Scuttle Crab, and they've started it up. Yeah,
the Baron being started here. Of course, the Chinese do very much like taking that Baron. There are a lot of pings onto it, and Sky takes a fair bit of damage. It's a decent scrying orb, going to spot out the members of King and give out their plan as Thrill the Hunt has now been popped. MLXG really wants to get something going on, but...
Ooh, Drizzle.
Ooh, forced to leap out of that one. Oh, no. Shu just gets right of the Arcaned out of there, and Kane now finds himself in a very uncomfortable position. Has survived this one, but it's a beautiful Cataclysm, and that's going to secure that kill for Assassin as well.
Really good Emperor's Divide coming through from Raphael to knock everyone back, but in the end, Assassin just doing too much damage, 5-2 and 5, and Sky, the upfront burst that comes out of Jarvan is just getting these team fights started exactly how King want, and there's just too many squishy members still on Energy Pacemaker's lineup to be able to stand up to the raw power that's coming out of King at this point.
And you have to say that Kane just found himself a little bit too far up and just got engaged upon. You'd think that if he managed to stay in that backline and get those buckshots and collateral damage out, that fight could have gone very differently. But positioning just not quite working out.
How far back can you stand against a Jarvan, a Rengar, and a Xerath?
That's a very good point. Maybe he needed to be in the fountain at the start of that one and then wander out with home guards after a few abilities have gone off. I'm not entirely sure.
It's just that if he is the front line, I think it's not how close he is to the enemy team. It's just that he needs to make sure that he is behind Amazing J at all point. Just because of the fact that, yeah, they're going to engage from maps away with the On the Hunt as well as the Rengar ultimate coming through. So,
yeah. You were very correct, by the way. The Warmog's armor has been finished up here by MLXG. And with no Blade of the Ruined Kings to speak of, the only % damage is going to come through from that Twisted Advance from Amazing J. It's a decent pickup here. And it's actually the Zhonya's Hourglass going to be completed from Raphael as well. So he can't necessarily get as engaged on, does have that little moment of stasis. And King clearing out the vision.
But once again, this 10,000 gold lead, 30 minutes into this game. King have definitely slowed, and Energy Pacemaker have done a great job of, I guess, equalizing how far behind they were falling. But apart from the Azir, there's just not really many. And once again, another catch.
Multiple hunts going to come through, and Drizzle's just going to fall down. Amazing J now the focus because he's the one that's here. It's a beautiful Emperor's Divide, but Sky finds his way in. Is he too deep, though? Because none of his other team members can find their way through. Shu's right up in the front line. Emperor's Divide's going to fall down, and MLXG trying to find Shu, but doesn't quite get in there. Raphael takes a bunch of damage, but it is just going to be that one kill onto Drizzle.
Yeah, and Sky gets chunked out. Does have the teleport available, so if they want to send him back, they can teleport to the Baron and start this one up. Doesn't look like they're even going to do that. They're just in there straight away.
Yeah, Sky doesn't even mind. He's going to flag and drag right on top of this big purple monster. And Energy Pacemaker, they want to try and make something on. Liam is right in here. There's a stun onto Kane, and he finds himself caught yet again. Assassin picks off that kill. Sky now flagging and dragging, finding his way into this one. Boomerang doesn't find its mark, but you have to think that in this particular situation, it's looking fantastic for King. MLXG, he's going to fall down. It's Raphael that picks up that kill, but Wushin is going to kill Amazing J, and Assassin takes down Raphael, and 2 members alive, but on flashing health, you'd think that this is definitely the Baron now for King.
Yeah, first Baron of the game will come through from King in a pretty emphatic fashion one more time. That was with the respawn of Drizzle coming through, and he just got sent back to base straight away. The catch potential just too high coming out of King. They pick up a Baron. We'll be able to go back and reset. And this is very, very dangerous territory now for Energy Pacemaker. Looking to be 2-0'd again for the 4th time.
This is China, so we only do 2-0s here. It might be considered a best of 2, but really it's just people killing each other twice in a row. That's just how it works, because we haven't seen anything but the 2-0, and it's looking like no different here today as King, as you mentioned, just putting on a clinic against Energy Pacemaker.
And now Sky has grabbed a Thorn Mail for himself. So the only person that can really do much work against him is Azir, who hasn't got any magic penetration at this point in the game, hasn't even picked up those boots too, so that Hex Drinker as well as the Cow going to do a lot of work for Sky, and he's everything at the moment. He's a damage threat. He's nice and tanky for his team, brings all the CC, and this game has played much better.
Yeah, Descent's actually going to land on a Sky here, but as you mentioned, not going to take too much damage, especially not from Kane, who almost took as much back in return from those minions on the Thornmail. Yeah,
hasn't been able to pick up the last Whisper yet, so won't be able to do much to this Jarvan whatsoever. They can spot him out on a ward here. Xerath Assassin only just joining his team. That's about Xerath's reign there, and from the river to the second turret.
Yeah, exactly.
As we see them push in for this second tier 2 turret, able to take that one down in short work. And Energy Pacemaker, if they need to make a move, they need to go very soon.
Yeah, they can't let this base get breached. As Sky now getting engaged upon because he has no right auto-attacking that turret. It's a nice hook. They get the focus down, but look at all of that AoE to come through, the collateral damage to come down. Kane, oh, he dodges the right of the Arcane. That's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to stay alive in these fights. Goodness gracious, but it is going to be Sky falling down, and that's going to be the repelling of King here in the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, so that's 30 seconds for a 5v4. They didn't even have to expend that much. Emperor's Divide still up, only the collateral damage coming through. So if they want to re-engage a fight, they have an opportunity right now.
There's the Descent's actually landing on LHG. The teleport coming through. Amazing J again finds himself in a fantastic position. Drizzle jumps in, but immediately gets punished for it. Ventral Maelstrom has been popped. Thrill of the Hunt now into Amazing J. He gets taken down. Whoosh in with the kill. And look at the burst coming through from Xerath. Kane now the last man standing. He's going to fall. And King, when they pull the trigger, they pull the trigger.
And that was a 4v5 with everything available from EP. Not even able to pick that up with the perfect flank coming out of Maokai. You would guess that's the game because they've still got that Baron buff on 2 members. We'll be able to push through into these Nexus turrets.
That was just beautiful to witness. Sky's here as well, of course, used that teleport. With that standard, going to be able to buff up his whole team. And these Nexus turrets are falling. 10 seconds now on Drizzle, Amazing J, and Shu going to be up in a couple as well. But you have to think that this is the Nexus turret falling down. And King, what a beautiful performance
I don't know if they can make it. They're actually going to be able to repel this one off. They're going to have to back off. May even lose 3 members here. But the damage is done to the base.
Yeah, that is the inhibitor down, the Nexus turret's down as well. Sky, can you just learn to take some damage, please? We're trying to cast your death, and there's just no way that we can do it if you don't die. He might even escape here, as it's actually going to be MLXG, or RNLXG, who's going to fall down first. But Sky, he's going to survive.
Yeah, so able to get out of there. This might mean a dragon for Energy Pacemaker, although we've already seen them lose 1 4v5 this game, so maybe not going to commit to that. No, they will, so...
Wushin's so aggressive as well. He's picked up another Zeal. So he might be going for a Phantom Dancer instead of a defensive item.
He's got a defensive item. He's got his Bloodthirster.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's a shield. Got it. Energy Pacemaker are going to pick up their 3rd dragon of the game, actually. So being able to keep up in that regard, they've just got to learn to take a couple of turrets.
And about 17,000 gold.
Yeah. Yeah, although, I mean, there isn't a 0 on the team, so the Sun turrets do confuse our little turret counter just a little bit. But of course, with 0 Nexus turrets, the base is looking open for the kill on the side of King.
Yeah, and bottom inhibitor was taken, so strategically the best inhibitor take on the map for King. Really using that Baron buff to great effect, and once again, they use the teleport from Amazing J so well. They try and get in and affect these team fights. And they start them up no problem. It's just the closing that they have so much trouble with. And King have just been on point this whole series, really taking it to them and not giving them the chance to, I guess, recover. And all in all, they've played this pretty well, King.
Yeah, they certainly have. But, I mean, we talk about the fact that Drizzle's been jumping in and getting melted. He has the most kills on his team. 4, 6, and 3. I mean, he's died a lot of times, but now that he has that last Whisper, I mean, he might become an assassination threat if they can hold on here in this game.
Yeah, you would think King would just play this one pretty textbook. The Baron is up in 2 minutes. There's no need to really do anything too risky. Force them to leave the base, because if they get one more Baron, this is really close to game over. So Energy Pacemaker are going to have to respond. They can't just sit at home and defend, and after that you would think King would just push for the last time.
Yep, Wushin now. He's going to pop the On the Hunt as a disengage tool. They're going to turn around again. There's Thrill of the Hunt coming through. Kane gets taken down to half health right at the Arcane's here as well. The last proc going to land there as Amazing J trying to do the best he can to tank up this turret. Talisman of Ascension going to get popped, but that's going to be Amazing J falling down, and there is so much damage on the side of King. Shu was there for a sec, then he was dead, and this is the Nexus up and available for the taking with only 2 members of Energy Pacemaker here to defend it. And Wushin just auto-attack the turret. Beautiful work. And King, they are looking so strong at the moment.
Yeah, so Energy Pacemaker deciding to roll the dice one more time, tried to engage on that. In the end, just too many Fed carries on the side of King. And yeah, from start to finish, they look completely in control of that series.
Yeah, they very much did. And we do have a replay just to demonstrate King's assertion of dominance here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, so as we can see, the Xerath stun is about to come through and does miss. So Sky goes very low and is taken out there from Energy Pacemaker. They start this team fight up extremely well, but Wuxia just able to kite around. MLXG getting so much work done. And Xerath in this team fight was absolutely huge. Just able to poke from long range, burns another few summoner spells there. And even though Azir at this point in the game was still doing reasonably well, in the end, just too much hard engage, too much long range poke. And when you coupled those two things together, there was just nothing Energy Pacemaker could do.
Yeah, and that was almost a best case scenario demonstration there on Energy Pacemaker's side of things. King just had their number over and over again in these fights, and just looking really good. And this is the King that we were expecting coming into the LPL as well, because they were the shining lights through LSBL, and now we're starting to see why. Wushin was huge.
Yeah, they did it in the fashion they like to do it as well. Much cleaner execution around the team fights. Good objective control. They gave away a couple of dragons in that last game. Yeah. And overall, just a very clean series compared to what we've seen so far.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful.